Okay. Wow, big win. Obviously, excited locker room. 11-win season. It's a great accomplishment. It's not easy to do. Get a playoff berth. Really excited about that. Great game. You know, a tough division opponent. We knew we'd get their best effort, but just thought we came out obviously on fire. Came out and started the way we wanted to start. Obviously, ran the ball really well. Got turnovers on defense. Did a good job on D. Did well on special teams. Then the second half, obviously we stalled on offense. Didn't convert on some third downs. But at the end of the day, win by 2 touchdowns, get to 11 wins and to get in the playoffs. So great opportunity. This is what we wanted. This was the first step. First goal and first step was to get in. And proud of the guys, the way they responded and the way we played today.
All right, Mike Chappell, you want to start us off?
Frank, in the past, you said you've ridden the hot hand with Jonathan. When did you realize he was a hot hand today, and you're just going to ride him until he fell over?
Yeah, and just felt like he was just running great, and kind of had an idea of coming in that we were going to do that, and really with the idea of making sure, this is such a big game. It was an important game, and he's been in beast mode, as we've said, and so he's earned that right, and he certainly looked great today.
Is that Kiefer?
Frank, the offense stalled, like you said, in the second half. I'm curious, what did you see? Why? What was the thinking behind the Jacoby? He came in on a 2nd and 11, and it got tight there for a little while. What was not working for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby came in on 2nd and 11. We almost creased a run for 40 yards. Still got a really good gain on that run, I believe. Almost hit it for a big one. And the idea was run the football. And when Jacoby's in there, he presents another added element of the quarterback keeping the football. And so what that does is it can pull one guy out of the box to make it a lighter box for the run. So we brought him in on the 2nd 11. I don't remember what that run game, but it almost hit big. I think it was a decent run. And then I left him in on a 3rd and 5 and called a run. And again, I was thinking it was going to be 4-down range. I was hoping we get that in there a little bit tighter. I thought we would. There's been once or twice this year I've called a run on 3rd and 5, that we've been pretty good at. So we didn't get enough on that run, got it to 4th and 2 and kicked a field goal and obviously missed the field goal. And then, then we had Jacoby in there for the 3rd and 1. It was a play that had a couple checks to it. He made the right check, and we just didn't execute up front, on the block. We're giving it to our workhorse. I mean, we gave it to Jonathan, to get a half a yard, and we just didn't execute there up front the way we needed to.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, you guys made some big personnel decisions in the offseason to get back to this point. What does it mean to make the playoffs after making those gambles?
It's huge. I mean, we feel like we've said this, excuse me a second. We've said this, from day one in training camp. We believe that we have a team that's good enough to win it all. And that has to start by getting in the playoffs. And now that we're here, that's our belief. And so, we'll take it one day at a time, and, we'll go into our mode of, prepare each day. Playoff football is unique. So I feel like our running game is ascending at the right time, for going into this time of year for playoff football. That's a really positive sign for us. And I believe that, our run defense will continue to shine, and so feel really good about where we are as a football team.
Jim Aiello.
Yeah, Frank, I don't know if you think about it in this way, but 16 months ago, this franchise was rocked by a pretty big retirement. What does it say about the team and the organization that the resiliency you guys have shown and be able to get back to the playoffs, 16 months later?
Yeah, no, we feel good about it. And it really is a credit to the players and the coaches, just fighting and believing. And, nothing is handed to you here. I mean, you got to earn everything. you go through ups and downs. Obviously, it was an interesting year. Had a lot of great wins, had a couple tough losses. You know, you learn through those things. You draw closer together, all the while figuring out what's the formula for us, you know, to be the team that can go all the way. And, you know, I think as the year has gone on, in a lot of ways, we've continued to find that, you know, and that's a good running game, and be able to mix it up and get shot plays in the pass game with play action, be able to play good defense, which starts with stopping the run, and then be great in special teams. And that's a formula that I think that we can carry on the road, and that, you know, we have the players to execute that formula.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Frank, not to be Debbie Downer, but just from the standpoint of consistency, where do you think your team is relative to where you need to be, you know, to succeed in the playoffs and the kind of competition you'll see there?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. And I think we've been, and I mean this in a respectful way, but, you know, in some ways, we've been consistent enough 11 times, and we haven't been 5 times. At this next level, there's no room for the inconsistencies, some of the inconsistencies that we've seen, you know, even in the last 2 weeks. You know, Stephen, like you're suggesting, you know, where, you know, we come out and they're hot in the first half, and then the inconsistency of the second half, you know, we know that has to be addressed, and we have to be better, you know, going on the road playing playoff football against, you know, really good teams. So it's still a 60-minute game, though, and there's still something to be said. You can come out and get on fire, and then you stumble a little bit, and you know, you don't want to do that. You never plan to do that. You plan on scoring every time you touch it, and you plan on stopping them every time they touch it. But there's something to be said that, you know, like today, at the end of the day, we scored 28 points. Or am I happy with that? No, not really. I was hoping we'd score a lot more, but usually that's enough to win a ball game. And so, you know, we have to continue to fight to get more consistent, but overall, we have the players and coaches to do that.
Kevin Bowen.
Frank, did you ever know the Texans-Titans situation during the game, ever buzz up to people in the press box and ask what it was?
No, I didn't. In fact, honestly, I assumed that the Titans won the game. And walking off the field, you know, that's when Matt Conti told me it was close and that it was coming down to the wire and that Tennessee was about to score, and, you know, that the Titans were going to get a shot to tie it up. So, yeah, I came in and, you know, we talked as a team first while the game was still going on, and then had the game on and saw the last couple plays there to end the game.
We'll go 2 more. Greg Doyle.
Hey, Frank. Yeah, about what you just watched on TV. Did you guys watch it as a team? And do you mind, like, I was looking at your body language for disappointment, and I'm not really seeing it. You didn't sit down all disappointed, but tell me about that, please.
Yeah, no, it was, we did watch. I mean, most of the guys gathered, and I wouldn't say it was the whole team, but there was a lot of the team in the, you know, because of COVID, the locker rooms are spread out. We have multiple locker rooms, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So I would say 3/4 of the team was in there. And, you know, obviously we see Houston, you know, kick the 51-yard. We basically turned it on about the time they were kicking a 51-yard field goal. You know, they make it. We're obviously all celebrating, you know, good, you know, make the field goal. And then, you know, when Tennessee throws a post, you know, we're all looking at each other like stunned, like, well, what was that coverage? You know, I mean, what's going on right now? But, you know, I think we were all the mindset of, sure. I mean, is being AFC South champions, you know, is that important? Yeah, it is. It really, so it hurt. I mean, it hurt. I'm disappointed in that, but it doesn't take away the thrill of, you know, getting in. This is probably a year more than any year with COVID where the seeding, you know, it matters who you play, but as far as on the road, at home, not as much of an advantage or disadvantage, either way you look at it. So we're ready to roll.
All right, last one, Bob Kravitz.
Frank, you've been through this before. You know, where you've needed help and you had to take care of business. What take us through that emotional roller coaster of today.
Yeah, I mean, it is an emotional roller coaster. You know, as we said early on, I mean, everybody kind of dealt with, you know, what we said, hey, everybody deal with it your own way. Just don't invest too much emotional energy into it. Well, that's hard not to do. But, you know, for me, I was in the locker room. I was in my office in the locker room, you know, just working on the call sheet, looking at it, just thinking through things, probably checking scores about every half hour, every 20 or 30 minutes, you know, and other guys were, you know, doing the same thing, whatever, on their phones. So, you know, at some point it looked like Buffalo got the game under control before we went out for warmups. It looked like Buffalo had the game under control. Obviously we didn't have that score up on the scoreboard while we were out there warming up. That was obviously planned. But by the time we went out on the field to warm up, it looked like it was under control. So now hey, let's focus. You know, we still got to take care of business. And so I think the guys did a good job of that.